Alright, go ahead and take a look here. We're going to start Unit 3, Day 6. We're going to look at how to prove that lines are parallel. And in order to do that, we need to understand a couple things first. And if you excuse my voice, it shouldn't be too bad of a video for us. Sorry if I sound a little bit hoarse. In the past, we've already done proofs where if I give you that lines are parallel, we can conclude things about the angle relationships. Well, now, we're going to start with those angle relationships and then conclude that lines are parallel. So that's kind of what we're doing today. We are proving that lines are parallel. And so we're going to do proofs a little bit differently this time, but not all the problems that you do in this lesson are proofs. You're just giving me some basic reasons, and it doesn't have to be quite so formal on all of these. But in all of these, we are going to start with different conditions, and those are some ways we can prove that the parallel lines that are cut by a transversal are in fact parallel. Okay, so here's a couple things we need to know. First of all, if you need to pause the video at any time to copy this down, please go ahead and do so. I'm not going to take a lot of time for this, but if you need to pause, go ahead and do that. Okay, you should have some of this copied down, and you can write these down as we go. There are four main conditions that we could use to prove the two lines are parallel. Okay, if corresponding angles are congruent, then the two lines cut by the transversal are parallel. So instead of saying if they're parallel, then corresponding angles are congruent, we're just flipping that around. We're taking the converse of all those theorems that we've looked at before. Okay? If alternate interior angles are congruent, then two lines cut by a transversal are parallel. If alternate exterior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. And if consecutive interior angles are supplementary, then the two lines cut by the transversal are parallel. So we're going to see if any of these conditions can be met first, then we can make that our conclusion. So this is how we're going to go through some of this. All right, so go ahead and pause here and get some stuff copied down. Okay, starting with example 1, we're going to determine if lines A and B are in fact parallel using the set of given information. We are not making that assumption first, so be careful in how you do that. Okay, once again, make sure you are listening to the video. Okay, you have to have volume turned up. You have to be hearing what I say. Okay, remember how you either did or did not draw the smiley face on your picture last time. You got to make sure you were listening to the video. Okay, so if you need to pause, go ahead and pause, get that copied down. Otherwise, this is how we're going to do this problem. So we're given, in the first case, that the measure of angle 3 is x plus 66. The measure of angle 5 is x plus 128. And the measure of angle 8 is, in fact, 121 degrees. So we're just going to use those angles to start with. Okay, we're going to use 3, 5, and 8. Okay? Now, we cannot assume that 3 and 5 should be supplementary. We're trying to see if that actually works by finding some other value of x first. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to figure out what x is a different way using this third piece of information. Whether A and B are parallel or not, angles 5 and 8 are vertical angles. So we do know that angle 5 and angle 8 should be the same value. So I can go ahead and say that x plus 128 equals 121. Okay? Okay, I know that 5 and 8 have to be equal measures because they're vertical angles. All right, now in order to do this, we just subtract 128 from both sides. Notice I'm not writing the proof. I'm not asking you to do that on this one. When you do 121 minus 128, we do get negative 7. You can get a negative x value. That's okay. We're not saying the angle measure is negative, but we do get a negative number here. Now, if x is negative 7, and it has to be, then I can actually find the measures of angles 3 and 5. Okay, the measure of angle 3 would be negative 7 plus 66. The measure of angle 5 would be negative 7 plus 128. Okay, so we can find these two angle measures. Negative 7 plus 66 is 59. You're just subtracting 7. That's another way you can do that. And 128 minus 7 is 121. Now, we did already know 5 was 121 from earlier. Now, I'm going to look at these two measures and see what they would add up to. measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 5 is equal to 59 plus 121. When we add those, we do in fact get 180 degrees. Okay, that means angle 5 and angle 3 are supplementary. So here's what I want you to say. I'm going to have you put this symbol on your notes. This symbol means the word therefore. Okay, if you want to write that in, you can. Three triangular dots means the word therefore. So we can say, therefore, angle 3 and angle 5 are supplementary, because that's what that means. So A is parallel to B because consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Now, if I was doing a proof, I would use actual reasons for this. We're not writing it as a proof. Okay? So that's how we write our answer. Okay, we're going to try and do this again with the next one. We're going to use angles 2, 6, and 7 this time. Let's look at angles 2, 6, and 7. We're told that the measure of angle 2 is 20x plus 10. Measure of angle 6 is 21x plus 4. Those are corresponding angles. Again, they would be congruent if the lines are parallel, but we're going to use the reverse logic of that. We're going to see if these are parallel by first seeing if the corresponding angles are congruent. And sorry about that. Measure of angle 7 should be 130 degrees. Make sure you make this change here. I started to work the problem out, and you can see that I have cut the bottom of that paper up because I completely worked it out wrong and then realized that it was a wrong number. This should be 130 degrees. So I've gone back and I'm starting the video recording over wherever I made my mistake. But that should be 130. So we are going to go ahead and use the vertical angles 6 and 7, set those equally to each other. 21x plus 4 would equal 130. We're going to solve for x. Subtract 4 from both sides, we get 126. And if we divide by 21 on both sides, we get that x equals 6. So we're going to take that value and we're going to plug it in to see what these angle measures are. Okay, measure of angle 2 would be 20 times 6 plus 10. And the measure of angle 6 would be 21 times 6 plus 4. Okay, and you get 120 plus 10 here, and 126 plus 4 there. Both of those are equal to 130 degrees. Since both are equal to 130, that means angles 2 and 6 are congruent, and that makes corresponding angles congruent, so the lines are parallel. Okay, so here's what we're going to say. Therefore, use the symbol for therefore again. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6, so A is parallel to B. Alright, and this brings us to our final example of the video. In order to do this, we are going to do a proof in a little bit different way. We are going to write a proof in paragraph form. Okay, this is where you need to pause, write this information down. You do have to have all of this written down in your notes, so pause real quick and write that down. Okay, hopefully you have this all written down now. Alright, if not, give yourself more time. But we're going to use a paragraph proof. So we're just going to write a short paragraph explaining how what we're trying to prove is true based on the given information. So I'm going to guide you through that, and we'll write a little bit, and I'll talk about it as we go. We've got this situation. Okay, we want to show, this should be line A and this should be line B. We're going to write that. We want to show that line A and B are parallel using the reasons we just talked about and then the given angles. Okay? Alright, here's all we know to start with. We know that angles 4 and 7 are supplementary. That'd be like our given information. Okay? So we're going to start from that assumption that 4 and 7 are supplementary. Now 4 and 7 are not a specific angle relationship. Okay? We know that 7 and 6 are vertical angles, and we know 4 and 6 would be consecutive interior angles. Okay, so here's how we're going to go through this. We're going to start with the given information. We will always start a proof in paragraph form by this statement. It is given that angle 4 and angle 7 are supplementary. And you can abbreviate. Okay, so we start with that statement. It is given that. And then you write the given information, just like we would start with the given information in the proof. Okay. Now we want to say something about that we're going to use here. Well, let's think about this. If 4 and 7 are supplementary, you remember that means their measures add up to 180. We're using angle 6 also because it's marked for us. Well, 7 and 6 are congruent, which means they have equal measures. So you'll remember doing a proof kind of like this the other day, where if these two are equal, I can substitute 6 in for 7, or 7 in for 6. So I'm going to start by saying, so the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 7 equals 180 degrees. Okay, that's coming from the meaning of the words supplementary. So we can say by definition. Okay, so we write that, and then we finish our sentence, by definition. And then we want to talk about angles 6 and 7 being equal measures. So we can say, since angle 6 and angle 7 are vertical angles, they have equal measures, because they're also congruent. We can use the word therefore. Since they have equal measures, and I've used this equation, we can say the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 6 equals 180 by substitution. Which means that angle 4 and angle 6, and then in parentheses I want you to put a reminder that these are consecutive interior angles, are supplementary. This means that lines A and B, ignore the bell, are parallel. Okay, we're going to go over some more examples like that in class, so if you have a little bit of trouble with that, that's fine, but this is a proof in paragraph form. Now, there are ways to shorten these a little bit, there are ways to get around things a little bit differently, but for this example, this is the best way we can write this.